Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend a lovely rainy morning with me in the kitchen, kind of, sort of. So, I've had a lot of folks ask for my pancake recipe. Now, I do it a little different than some people you might see. Through the years, I've tried a bunch of different pancake recipes, and I finally come up with my own concoction. And some of y'all may say, what in the world are you making? But they're good, I'm telling you. So I'm going to try my best to give some measurements for y'all today. Y'all know how I cook, a little of this and a little of that, but these pancakes are delicious. So, already in my bowl, I have 2 cups of self-rising flour and a tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to melt a little hunk of butter. That's probably, a half a stick, I'd say. I'll put that over there in my pan. I don't mind dirtying up my cast iron pans to melt grease because grease is good for cast iron anytime. We are so thankful for the rain, y'all. It just has started, but hopefully it's going to be on and off at least most of the morning. So what better way to spend a rainy morning than in the kitchen, right? I'm going to go ahead and get these dry ingredients mixed up. Like I said, it's just self-rising flour and a little sugar. Let's start with about a cup of milk. I don't usually measure this part, so yeah, we'll start with that. Probably gonna need a little more. With a good bit of white vinegar. I mean a good bit. So I know a lot of you are gonna say, well, Megan, you can just use buttermilk and have the same effect. Yes, that's what I thought too. But I'm gonna tell you, my personal opinion, the whole milk, because I have buttermilk in my refrigerator, but the whole milk with the vinegar gives me a much better product. I'm much more satisfied with my pancakes doing it that way versus the buttermilk. Don't know, I guess it's the chemical reaction with the baking soda that's in the self-rising flour. I don't know, but it makes them fabulous. Alright, and we're going to add to that 1 egg. So I do let that milk and vinegar set just a minute. But then we're going to go in. We're just going to mix that in. I'm going to get that egg beaten right there in the middle of my pond before I go to mixing it all too much. I'm actually going to throw in a little vanilla too. Half the time I forget this part, but it helps. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need more milk. Let's pour in about another, half a cup? Let's do that. I'll pour in my melted butter. Now I've used melted lard, I've used butter, I've even used bacon grease for that right there, and all those ways are good. Alright, next thing I have found is I'm going to let that set for a few minutes. I'm going to go light the Blackstone, and that's where we're going to cook these at. But it turns out better if I can let it sit for a few minutes and let that chemical reaction happen. I got my Blackstone good and warm now. I like to use my ice cream scooper. Now I'm going to throw in some chocolate chips. for a few chocolate chip pancakes. Got that beautiful crust on there. Those need to go a little longer. Can you see them raising up? We love cooking breakfast out on the Blackstone, especially this time of year before it gets too hot, or if it's a rainy morning like this. The birds are always cutting the shine, and it's just an enjoyable experience. Any excuse to be outside. Look at the fluff on that one. Breakfast is served.
So just picked me a zucchini off of the plant here. We've had two of the beautifulest zucchini plants this year that we've had in a while. I lost one due to some vine borers and I ended up treating for those, and since then I ain't had no problem at all. And that's one thing I'll say is, despite the fact that we've had, heck, every time I try to talk, Cookie just hollers and hollers. Anyways, despite the fact that we've had very, very little rain this summer and spring, man, the gardens have done great. Grab me an onion. You can see our onions in here right now. I just threw these in here the other day. Oh, they're fine. But see, they're sitting on hardware cloth. And of course, where we're in the greenhouse, it heats up nice in here and cures them out. Matter of fact, the ones I put in here first, I believe they are done, and I could probably put those up. So once the rest of these dry, which it won't be long, well, Meagan will probably tie them up in a braid. I think is what she said she was going to do. Garlic. We ended up pulling the garlic the other day, and there it is. We didn't have very much garlic planted this year, but what garlic we did have turned out pretty good. But I needed the zucchini for zucchini bread. I think she's already got a few in the house too, so. And then I needed to get an onion because I'm going to cook some burgers here in just a little bit for lunch. I like to have an onion to cut up with those. And I'll find me a pepper. These are hot bananas. Right there's one that just needs to come off. Get out of there. I don't want you. Let's see, this is a pretty one. Oh yeah. It's supposed to be a hot banana, but it don't smell like a hot banana. Anyways, cut that pepper up with our burgers too. Give them things a little bit of flavor. And I believe the rain at the moment is about as hard as it's aimed to get today. It's funny how this here has worked. I mean, I'm super thankful for what rain we've gotten so far. However, it's not been much at all. Everywhere around us has gotten a lot of rain. Matter of fact, an hour west of us has gotten, I think they said like over 8 inches last night. from a storm that just bubbled up, and it just sat there and just kept building and building and building. But we ain't had nothing like that here. I think at the moment we're sitting at just a little bit under a tenth of rain so far, which I must say I try to be on the positive side of this the best I can. While I would have loved, on average, most folks around, it seems, have gotten at least over an inch so far. But we haven't. We've been in this little shadow of the mountain over there that y'all see in our videos sometimes. Can't see it today because it's too cloudy. But that mountain, I will say, protects us during bad weather. Like when everybody else is getting these terrible storms and hail and winds and all that, 9 times out of 10, not always, but 9 times out of 10, that mountain will bust that storm up before it gets to us, and we don't have those bad storms right here. Now, on a dry year like this, it hurts us because that mountain busts up the storms before they get here, and so we don't get nothing out of what everybody else gets. But it's just the luck of the draw. I mean, like I said, that mountain has saved us more than once when these bad storms come through. So I am thankful that the rain that has fell has been very good, slow rain. However, we need so much more. And after today, it's supposed to get hot again. And I don't think we have a chance of rain for about a week. So I don't know. Time will tell. And it's out of our control. And there ain't nothing I can do about it. Ain't nothing nobody around here can do about it. And we just hope for the best and expect the worst sometimes. Y'all look at these jalapenos. These are the halcinators. Now, that one still got some growing to do. Ain't they pretty? We had some poppers the other night out of them, and they were so good. These are the bell peppers. Ain't nothing much happening with them yet. These are just regular sweet banana peppers. And that one's got that spot on it too. I think I'll go ahead and pick that one because that spot will just get worse. That's a nice one right there. Still looks good though, so I'm gonna leave that one hanging because it'll keep just fine on that vine for now. Poblanos look good. We've picked a few of those so far. But I was just looking to see if there was any other pepper out here that I'd prefer to cut up with my burgers. And I might grab one of these jalapenos. There's so many of them here. I think I'm going to grab one of them small ones. Yeah, there we go. Ain't that funny? Used to, we would have called that a big pepper. But that's actually a small one on those halcinators. But yeah, anyways. About tripped on the water hose. Anyways, I woke up this morning a little bit upset that it hadn't rained no more than it had. And like I do, I text all my buddies, did you get any rain last night? Did you get any rain last night? All of them got rain. I mean, we're 1 inch, 2 inch. And I was like, gosh, why don't we get it? So, needless to say, that kind of soured my morning just a little bit. But then I was like, you know what? I started seeing on Facebook all these other folks had gotten bad storms and bad flooding rains and stuff. And I said, no, I'm thankful that we didn't get that. And what rain has fell has been good, beneficial rain. So that made my day a whole lot better. I hate it for those folks that did get those rains. But yeah. And it's still falling, so hopefully we'll get quite a bit more today. I really hope so. Man, we need it. But anyways, I've got to run over to the neighbors. They have a little farm stand set up. I got to get some eggs because our laying chickens are getting really old, and they just don't lay eggs like they ought to. And then Jacob's chickens, they're not old enough to start laying, so we're in that transition period right now, to where we're not getting any eggs at the moment. Well, our chickens are laying eggs. They're just not laying enough eggs. We eat a lot of eggs. So I've got to go over to the neighbors, to the farm stand, and it's just like half a mile down the road. I'm going to go down there and pick up a couple of dozen of eggs. And Megan's got to have some for the zucchini bread. And I eat eggs every morning for breakfast. Roll over. Don't worry, I'll scratch you. Well, I got my eggs, but I didn't get them from the farm stand. I went over there and they didn't have it set up this morning. Evidently they had it closed. I don't know if it's because it's a nasty rainy morning. They didn't figure nobody'd come out to it, or that's very well possible. Or they were just doing something else today. But anyways, I run down to my mama's. Luckily she has chickens too, and at the moment she's getting quite a bit of eggs. So I got me a few eggs here, and that'll hopefully do us until we get more eggs from our chickens this evening. I guess that's one good thing about living in this area we live in. We have so many options. Like I said, the farm stand down the road, Mama's. Lots of folks around here's got chickens, and on the most of them have excess of eggs this time of year. We're just, like I said, our chickens are old, and well, we're undecided on what we're going to do with those chickens right now. I don't know if we're going to, I really don't know what we're going to do with them. We only got 7 of those older chickens, and then Jacob's got however many chickens he's got. All of those will start laying here probably within the next month or so. So once they start laying, we're going to have an excess of eggs. Despite the wet weather, Jacob said he's going to mow. Yeah, he come out and asked me, he said, Daddy, think it'd be all right if I go ahead and mow? I said, well, it's wet, but whatever you want to do. He said, well, I want to mow while it feels good. And I will say it feels really nice out here right now. He said, I want to mow while it feels good. And I said, well, honey, you have at it. You mow all you want to. Figured I'd go ahead and help Jacob out. I figure if it did decide it wanted to really rain, we'd at least have the yard mowed. So I'm gonna tell you, that patch and that patch right there are both Bermuda grass. The rest of this spot down here could have went without mowing, but that Bermuda grass takes so little of moisture to actually grow. That almost bogged the mower down, and it's not been about a week since it was mowed. So crazy how fast that grows compared to the other grasses we have here.
All right, now let's get to making some zucchini bread. I've made this chocolate chip zucchini bread for years now. I had adjusted on the recipe and finally come up with one that me and the kids and Andy that we all love. And I'm gonna tell you, chocolate and zucchini go very good together. Very good. So I'm going to show y'all how I make this. So this recipe is going to get you a full loaf pan, like a regular, loaf pan. Not the long ones, just a regular little short one of zucchini bread. But I got these little tiny little tiny bread pans. And maybe it's because it's different, I don't know. But we have been enjoying me making those little tiny loaf pans of zucchini bread. I got those so I could give away some zucchini bread to neighbors and such. But we found that we like them that way too. Alright, so first thing, of course, we're going to do our dry ingredients. We need 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. I've never used self-rising in this recipe, so I don't know how it would work. It would probably be fine, but I'm just telling you, I haven't ever personally done it. 1 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I get so tickled because sometimes in the comments in the videos, I've had people say, what is baking powder? Like bacon, B-A-C-O-N powder? Never heard of baking powder. What is that? Where do I find that? I always get tickled. It took me like a little while though. The first couple times I saw that, I was like, what are those people talking about baking powder? And then I realized that when I say it, baking powder and bacon that you eat, I say it the same way. I don't know. I think about that now. Every time I say baking powder, I think about that. Is there such a thing as BACON powder? I don't know. A half teaspoon of baking soda. Around 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. I just throw it to it. I really like the cinnamon in my bread. I usually put ground ginger in it too, just a little bit, just a smidge, but I didn't have any right now, so we're not putting it in there today. And a half a teaspoon of salt. Then take your handy dandy fork and get all those dry ingredients fluffed up and mixed together. So the next thing we're going to need is about half a cup of melted grease. You can use lard, like I'm going to use. You can use Crisco, you can use vegetable oil, butter, whatever kind of grease you normally cook with will go just fine here. Alright, now to our half a cup of melted grease, we're going to add 3/4 cup of brown sugar. We're going to get that sugar combined in with that grease pretty good. We need roughly 2 cups of shredded zucchini. Alright, so when a lot of people make zucchini bread, they want to get the juice out of your zucchini. So most of the time zucchini bread recipes are accounting for that moisture that's in there. So a lot of times what I like to do with my extra zucchini too is I'll go ahead and shred it like this and freeze it in 2-cup increments, since my zucchini bread recipe takes 2 cups. We're going to mix that in with our grease and egg and sugar mixture. And grade that zucchini up as fine as you want. I just use the bigger holes. It's a little bit of vanilla. I'll put a little extra. That's my homemade vanilla, and it's not 100% there yet. Actually, it smells pretty strong. So now we're ready to pour our wet ingredients into the dry. Now, I usually pour in, I don't know, about 3/4 of a cup, half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips. Enough chocolate chips that it's kind of spread throughout here. Add a few more. I like to be able to see them in there. Now, this recipe's been filling 5 of my little bread pans here. Ain't they cute? Look at them little things. They are so cute. So, I'm just going to grease these little pans. They are non-stick. I don't typically cook with non-stick stuff, but these were an exception. But I still give them a little thin layer of grease. Nothing hurts your feelings more than you work hard to fix something and it gets stuck and tears all to pieces and everything else. Especially get the corners. That's usually where I have most of my trouble. So like I said, this recipe you can also use for a regular size loaf pan, and I mean that's what I used to do till I got these. So now I'm just going to go through. We don't want to fill them plumb to the top because this is going to rise. So I usually fill them up about like that because they're going to rise up and they'll be perfectly fine. So that's about half full from the top, I'd say. Yep, and we have just enough. We may be just a tad shy, but not too bad for that last pan there. So now the last thing I do is go through and put some chocolate chips on the top. You don't have to do this part, but it makes them look awfully pretty once they're cooked. So we're going to pop these in the oven. We'll check on them in about 20 minutes to see if they're done. Now I will tell you, I'm trying to remember how long it is. If you're using like a regular loaf pan, it's going to take between 50 minutes to an hour for it to get done with the big thick loaf. But with these little tiny pans, it's usually between 20 and 25 minutes. Alright, so my zucchini bread ended up cooking about 25 minutes. Show y'all what these cute little things look like. You can see how these loaves rose and filled this out perfectly. So I'll just double check these biggest ones. Make sure this comes out clean. Because that's one thing with these quick breads. I think the mistake a lot of people make is not letting them cook long enough. Now when you cook the big loaf, it gets quite a bit browner than this because it does have to cook so long, but it's still great. But always make sure your tester, your toothpick, or whatever you're using comes out clean. If not, you won't be happy with your product. I used to mess up doing that that's banana breads, zucchini breads, any of those breads. So we'll let them cool, and I'll here in probably 10 minutes I'll pop them out of the pans and put them on a cooling rack till they get completely cool, and I can wrap them up and keep them for later.
Not sure y'all can tell it, but it's actually raining. Thank goodness. I'm gonna get this Blackstone lit. When I cook these burgers like I've been doing, I like this thing to get hot. Like I want to get a good sear on both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up, let it be getting hot. Then I'm gonna go in and patty them out and do all that stuff. Now the way I'm getting ready to do these burgers, I learned from a podcast I listened to, as a matter of fact, and they have worked phenomenal and they taste great. So, and this is the key part right here. I like to give these things a good layer of salt. And I'll flip them over. So we'll give them a little bit of salt. Now they need to sit there for like 2 or 3 minutes, for a little bit. Kind of want to see the moisture start drawing out of the burger before you put it on the griddle out there. Y'all can kind of see how much salt I've got scattered on that. So what they say, and it seems to work, that salt draws the moisture out of just the very outside layer of that burger. And so that enables you to get a really good crust on it when you put it on a hot skillet or Blackstone or whatever. It works best if you're using like a flat top skillet or stove or something to cook on. Grill, it does okay like this, but it's the best when you're using some kind of flat top something or a frying pan. But I was never able to get like a sear on a burger till I started doing it this way. When we started doing them this way, I will always cook a burger this way. Like they just get perfect. And it's not a crunchy sear. However, it's enough of a sear that you know it's there. So you can probably tell this stovetop has gotten good and hot. I'm going to put me just a little bit of lard out there. You can use butter. I've done butter or anything just to get me some grease so the burgers don't stick. But that's how I want it. I want this thing hot. There we go. Hear that? That's what I want to hear. So I'm still going to leave the heat wide open on this thing through the whole cooking process. And I'm just going to let them things stay there and sear for a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how long it takes, but you can tell. And one good way to tell is when you take your spatula and touch that burger, once the fats start to come out of the burger, it kind of releases it and it don't stick anymore. Learned all this from that same podcast. And that's how you know it's time to flip it. So when I can take that spatula and easily move that burger around, that's when I flip it. And then I may flip it a couple of times after that, but I don't touch it until that burger gets loose on that griddle. So let's test them out. Yep. See how that burger moves? We're going to flip it. And look at that little bit of a sear we got going on there. Just from my personal experience, everybody else may not be this way. I may be the only one. But I have learned through the years of cooking burgers. I used to think low and slow was the way, but I have since learned keep that heat high and cook them burgers fast, and you capture in all the juice that's in that burger. That crust, that sear, that crust you get right there seals that burger off. And so when you bite into this thing, even though you may have a nice crust on the outside, it is so juicy on the inside. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it without letting you taste one of them. So I like to check my burgers by just sticking them a little bit and seeing what color juice we get out. They're still red, so we're going to leave them a little while longer. Matter of fact, I may flip them. Nah, let's put him back. I don't got a dark enough side yet. Yep, we'll leave them a little bit longer and come back and check them in a minute. But y'all see what I'm talking about, that crust. I was never really able to achieve that before doing the salt trick. So there they are. I'm going to let them sit there and rest for just a few minutes before we eat them. And just look at that.
You gonna make a good cook yet, ain't you?
You think so?
Of course.
Maybe. I can cook on that Blackstone. That's about it.
That's all right. I'll take it.
I know you will. I tell you, I've really grown fond of that Blackstone here lately.
Yeah, we take spells. We'll cook on it for a while and go back and forth.
We've done a lot on it this summer.
I braved the rain and went and found some peaches.
Oh, you did? Oh. Those ones off the front tree are good, ain't they?
Yeah, they're good.
Just look at this, guys. This is beautiful. Beautiful. And I must say that this little bit of rain right here come out of nowhere. It was not on radar. Just look. I mean, it is pouring. This is the hardest we've seen it rain in months. I say that. This is hardest since we've seen it rain in at least a few weeks. Goodness gracious. I love it. I love it. Talk about lifting spirits. Like, I was starting to feel alone. I was like, we're the only ones that haven't got any rain out of all of this rain. Like, we haven't got anything. Maybe now we're finally getting our share. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. I love it, y'all. Haven't even ate my burger yet. I just had to come outside and watch this. It's amazing what rain will do for the soul. I could almost cry right now. I'm so happy. You want to hear something funny? I got so excited about the rain, I completely forgot that I got that onion and those peppers to cook with my burgers this morning. Totally forgot about about the peppers. Oh my goodness. Megan just said, you know what you didn't do? You didn't cook those peppers with your food. The rain got me all tore up. Yep. What better way to eat lunch than to sit right here and watch this?
Better than a movie.
That is, yeah, it's a lot better than any movie. I got that burger just perfect. I can't believe I forgot those peppers.
Well, I forgot them too. I should have reminded you, and I forgot.
I got so excited because it started raining. I completely forgot.
Well,
But they're still good without them.
oh yeah. We'll use them later.
Boy, that burger's good. You don't even need nothing with it. No sauce, no nothing. This is beautiful.
I can hear the grass drinking it from here.
Oh, I can too. It's sucking it up. You know, we're under a flash flood warning to a watch till late tonight. You know, it's been about, 2 years ago now, we got that rain that just kept raining and raining and raining and built right over top of us the whole time.
It run over our rain gauge.
Yeah, I think we ended up with about 9 inches out of that.
Yep.
That's when the pumpkins was floating down
Remember, we guessed 9 inches.
there. Yeah.
So it ran over the rain gauge. Well, y'all, I guess this seems like a good place as any to wrap up today's video. We're going to sit here and enjoy the rain and what's left of our rainy day. And, man, we ain't had one of these in a long time.
No, we ain't.
Not a rainy day, we just shower here and there, but we're going to take it all in. But, guys, we sure appreciate you spending some of your time with us today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.
I guess me and Jacob got the yard mowed right on time.
Right on time. It sure looks good too. It'll green it up nice now.
Yeah, that's right here. We'll be mowing it again in a few days if it keeps on. I hope we are. I ain't complaining at all.
Nope.
I'll take it. By far the best half inch of rain that's ever fell on this place.